Layton City residents, obviously. So we're thankful for that. So we started OPA in 2016 in a little baby warehouse just outside of Sam's Club. And we started with the idea that education and the arts could change not only people, but our community. And that's a mission that grew for us, and we are fully behind as a board and a staff because we've seen it firsthand. I've experienced it firsthand in my own life. And so when we started in 2016, we started and we were sure that we would get hundreds of kids the first semester. It was just like going to be no problem at all. And we started with 4 kids in our very first class. And in that moment, we were like, oh no, what have we done? But within weeks, we had more people wanting to enroll and more people wanting to get involved. And we decided to start doing theater because there wasn't a producing organization of theater here in Layton at that time. So we decided to add theater to our program, and within 3 shows, we had outgrown our space and eventually started looking for a new space, which led us to our current home on Main Street, just north of Home Depot. We now have, in total, with our storage rooms, shops, rehearsal rooms, we have about 25,000 square feet of space that we use every day now. We started with 4 shows in a season. We now produce over 20 shows a year at OPA. That includes children's theater, that includes our main stage shows, as well as our brand new space, which is called our creator stage, which is more of a black box style, seats about 60 people. And so we have 2 theater spaces right there in that building. And if you haven't seen it, you should come check it out. It's pretty cool. He can probably make an appearance later if you want. Yes. So we started in what we believed in, we continue to believe in, and our numbers in the very beginning started, and from there we grew 20% every semester, and we continue to grow 20%. We have about 750 students a week who walk through our building now. We are expecting 1,500 to 2,000 students over the course of this year. Our audience members, our engagement, things like that have all also grown. We started our first year with 800 audience members. We're now breaking 25,000. We've grown to the point where we've really started looking at what the future is for our programs and how we're going to run them. And we think it's a great thing to come in front of you guys and talk about what the arts are here and what the future of the arts are in Layton, because I think that we as a city are the leaders in our county, possibly our state. I'm just saying. And I think that it's important that we start thinking about what's next for the arts in our community, because I think every single person in here can agree that the arts have affected them personally in some way. And you may not be involved in them every day, you may not see everything we see, but you've experienced what the arts create in your life. And it's important. It's important for our city, it's important for our kids, it's important for our adults. And we are here to talk about all of that. So some of the growth that we've experienced besides the education program, which you can read more about in the packet, I'm not going to read it word for word, but you're welcome to. But we started what we call our Broadway Access Concert, which is a program that we do once a year where we bring in Broadway actors, actresses who come in and teach to our classes, to adults, kids, and they also perform a concert here. And we started it because we often hear here in Utah that the ability to go see theater or go see performing arts people like that is inhibited by money and ticket prices. So we started this concert, and thankfully we have been able to receive the RAMP grant for it every year that we've applied, and we're very thankful because what it allowed us to do is create a space where people can see these performing arts artists, people from Broadway, work with them for free. And it gives our community another level that we stand behind fully. This year we haven't announced this yet, so I'm not going to say it because I know this is live streaming. But we have 3 Broadway artists coming the last weekend in January, and they will be here for up to 2 weeks doing classes in our city and performing concerts and things like that. So it's going to be a big week for us, and we're very excited to have them here in the city. And you can also see a picture of Joy with last year's in your packet. Yeah, I searched for that picture on purpose. I was like, I gotta find Joy.
Really?
Yeah, it's on page 7. We also started what we call our art gallery hall. And in our building, if you haven't been there again, we have a space we have a bunch of art that hangs on the walls. We allow artists a free place to display and sell their art. We take no commission, we don't charge them. It's just a place for artists to have a home here in our city and a lot of what we end up finding is we end up with kids who are displaying their art. Our last artist was a 15-year-old who had 25 beautifully painted pieces that he probably wouldn't get seen at other places. And we're really excited to be able to offer a place that supports the arts and also is a little bit different from what's going on around us. So those are some of our backgrounds. There's some mission moments in there as well, things that we have experienced with our kids. I will highlight one. Sorry, I'm going to get emotional. I'm so sorry. Mia Laporte started with us about 4 years ago. She was one of our original students in the new space, and she was really struggling one year. And we were feeling that she was a little off, and she was coming to rehearsals, but she wasn't really there. And we sat down with her mom, and we started talking about what we can do to help, how we can help support her to feel more comfortable, because we thought that maybe she was feeling shy, she was not doing well because she was afraid to perform. Come to find out, she was suicidal, and it was the only place that she would go the whole week was to come to theater, to go to do the arts, because she believed that it was the only place she could be herself. And that right there is the reason the arts matter. At whatever level you are involved in, the arts present a place for every single person, whether they are young or old, where they come from, to be themselves, to be allowed to be who they are, and to be welcomed for being that. And that's important. And that's why we continue what we're doing here in Layton. And that's why we're here. We want the city to join us in that. We want the city to get behind what the arts are doing in our community currently and how much more we can be doing with the arts in our community. We have great organizations here in our community. We have so many great organizations. It's time that we all take a step together and move forward. So you can learn about that. I put in the packet some of the information about our partnership with Layton City because I think it's important to sort of highlight where we started with you all as well. Some of you will recall, Alex, I'm sure, Joy, this was one of your first meetings, I remember, was the last time we were in this room, actually. And we have been working with architects and development firms and fundraisers to work on a plan for a performing arts center. And we have been doing that for many years, as you all know. And it's still in the works. And it's something we're not going to give up on. And we're not actually here to ask you to join us in that tonight, although you're welcome to, and we would love that. But what we're telling you is that there's a future. The arts are happening here in Layton, and we are going to make it happen. I think that's important to us because we believe in it. So when we started, we didn't know anything about the ramp grant. We didn't know anything about Layton City and their involvement in other things. It took us almost 2 full years before we approached Layton City to talk about bringing back the summer musical at the amphitheater. And in 2018, we approached Michelle and Dave, and started talking about the possibilities of being able to bring back the big summer musical that we used to do here in Layton. Because it was important. And ironically, where Charlene and I, who started OPA, it's where we met, was doing the Arts Council's big musical 20 years ago when we were doing Secret Garden at the amphitheater. So we wanted to bring it back. We think that it's important for our place. So in 2018, we approached the city. There was a lot of discussions. The city was very, very excited to get involved and help. And in 2019, we were able to do our first show in the amphitheater, which was Newsies, which was a phenomenal success, went really great. 2020 came, and we all know what an experience that was. But we were, again, lucky. We were able to find a way to produce and keep going with our mission. We were able to perform The Music Man at the amphitheater. And we, again, felt lucky to be able to bring the arts, especially in a time like that. That was a hard time for everybody. After Music Man, we moved on to Beauty and the Beast, and again, we're very lucky to welcome all the crowds at the amphitheater with the city's partnership as well as Skin. And then, after that one, in 2022, unfortunately, we were no longer able to get the amphitheater, and we moved over to the high school for Matilda. But we continue to receive the ramp grant, which again, very thankful for, so that we can continue to do these bigger shows that bring in more people and allow more people to be in the audience and in the show. So we did Matilda over at the high school, and then the following year, again, we were unable to get the amphitheater, and so we rented out the high school this year actually, for Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid was our biggest show we've ever done. We had over 80 people in the cast. There were over 400 costumes made for the show. We had moving boats. We had 60-foot wide scenery. It was a massive show. And anybody who saw it, you can attest to that magnitude of what happened over there on that stage. And there was a lot of discussion during The Little Mermaid about what community theater is and why it matters. And I think that what's important in this moment is that what we heard over and over again is that we're giving a home and a place for everybody. In that show, we had as young as 5-year-olds and as old as 85-year-olds. And some of them couldn't dance. Some of them had to sit. And what was important to us is that they were allowed the ability to be involved in the arts and to feel at home and welcomed, no matter what their abilities and where they came from. So that for us, for Little Mermaid, was the biggest success. Not to mention, it brought in the most number of audience we've ever had. Again, thanks to the ramp grant, we were able to give out well over half of the tickets for free or under $5, which was amazing. And again, great for our residents, because Layton residents were able to see that show and be involved in that experience in that moment. So that was really amazing for us, and we are so appreciative of it. Some of the things that we'd really like to highlight in this conversation is our experience with ramp, our experience of what we've been through, and how, from our point of view, what it's been like to be an organization in this city, and how we would love to provide some feedback and help make it better for all the arts organizations in our community. When we first applied for RAMP in 2018, oh, it's on the packet, I should be following my notes, but I'm not. I think it was 2018 was our first RAMP year, and we were funded for Newsies. And it's been it was a great learning experience for us. And I think that for an outside organization, here's the things that we've learned about RAMP over the last 5 years of applying for RAMP. It does amazing things. It does absolutely astonishing things for our community, and it's well worth it. And we are proponents, obviously, and we will scream it from the rooftops when it's time to start talking about it again. But I also think it might be time to have to look at how theater fits into the ramp grant. And I know that sounds like a weird statement, but I believe when the ramp grant was put together, when the ramp commission and everything was put together, I think that there was not a full understanding of producing full live theater. And I think what we've experienced over the last 5 years of applying for the ramp grant is a lack of understanding of what theater is, what it takes to do theater, how it works, and not in anyone's problem. No one there is treating us badly. We don't feel that way at all. I just think it's time to start looking at how to be the next step in the arts here. And something as simple as, and a lot of this is in this packet, but something as simple as when we apply for ramp grant on the front page of the application, one of the things it asks is if we're going to keep the items or if the city will retain the items when it's done. We always click, we're going to keep the items because, again, 400 costumes. Do you guys want those? You know, and so we always click that. But it's one of the questions we get every year is, well, if you're going to buy those costumes, then they're the property of the city. Okay, totally understandable, right? Like we get that but I don't think that that's fully understanding what it takes to do a theater show. Like, does the city want to get into the ability of storing 400 costumes somewhere and over the course of the 5 years, 2,000 costumes somewhere, and the set pieces, things like that? And I think that those are some of the things that are important to us in this conversation that we hope will continue, is to look at how we can improve the arts for everyone, because we're not the only people applying for ramp grants in the arts. You all know that as well as we do. And we really like to start looking at some of those options and how we can help better the program for everybody involved. I put in there on page 15 some of the benefits that we have had in the partnerships that we've created with Layton City and the Ramp Commission Ramp Grant. And I think that that's really where we want to. I know we are constricted on time, but I want to really go over that information. I think that some of the benefits that the city and the Ramp Commission and you all have created. We're growing a flourishing art community here in Layton. It shows, it's happening. Whether or not we all believe it or not, it's going to happen, and we're going to have amazing arts here. We're showcasing local talent. That's what the Ramp Grant is doing and helping provide for a lot of us, is the showcasing of local talent. And that's what's different from us and other Ramp Grant recipients, is that we have 80 people from Layton putting on a show across the street. And that's important. And that's something that's really, that we hope that the City Council and the Ramp Commission continue to look at. Obviously, we've been able to produce larger shows with more community members and lots more opportunity because of that support. And our community has had more access to arts because of the support of Ramp. Some of the struggles that we have experienced is we've been unable to fully access city facilities during our events, such as the pavilion, the dressing rooms. When we were able to use the amphitheater, we were never allowed to use any of those spaces because they were not for our organization. So that's hard for us when we're producing a show that we're producing. So we're setting up tents, we're doing things like that to figure out ways to make it work. We have been unable to advertise on the stage at the amphitheater. We're not allowed to cover up the banners of other organizations. We're not allowed to do anything that would cover up any of those, which we don't necessarily want to cover up their things. We would like to support them, but we think there might be a way to do both. And I think that it's time that we start sort of acknowledging that there is a way to do some of those things, that we can get them all together. Some of the other things that we've done, the city staff has been we've been super grateful for the city staff, but they have invited us to host Layton Liberty Days. Our singers have picked up the ball when the Voices of Liberty concert singers were unable to perform, and we figured that out. But through some of that, we've also not been mentioned. We haven't been put in the program. Our logo hasn't been placed. And again, it feels like this is one of those easy things that a city could do to help all of us arts organizations. When you partner, help us succeed. Just simple logo placement, simple conversations, a placement in the program, that's huge for us. I mean, that's advertising for us, because I think we all know that anytime we do anything in the amphitheater, it's pretty heavily, the idea is pretty heavy that it's a certain organization producing, and that's great. And we want them to succeed, but we would also love just a smidge of that marketing for us and our organizations that are also working as hard as them. We are really struggling with the amphitheater and being able to get time in the amphitheater to produce this show. And when we started with the city partnership, the city was really behind it. In fact, gave us the amphitheater for free the first year. Then we were told that we could no longer get it for free. We could apply for a ramp grant, and the ramp grant would pay for it, which we're happy to do. But now it's come to the point where we're unable to find 2 weeks, 14 days where we can perform in the amphitheater. And again, I know we're not the only organization, and I hope that we can start looking at how we can find a way to support all of the organizations to find this answer to help us all get that space and time that we need, because unfortunately, that's really the space we have in the city right now. That's the performing arts space other than our spaces. That's what we have. Or we go to the high school, and this year we paid almost $15,000 to rent the high school for 2 weeks. And it's cost prohibitive. And this year, the ramp grant thankfully paid for that, but we feel bad about that. We feel like we're taking money from other organizations when there's an option that could have been a whole lot cheaper and could have given money to other organizations that need it just as bad. And we don't want to spend that money on rent. It doesn't make sense to us. In general, we feel a lack of support and appreciation from the city at times, especially openly. And I don't, that's not meant to sound malicious or anything. It feels like we have support when we're in the room. It doesn't feel like when we leave the room we have support. And that, again, is an interesting thing to say, but it's the truth of the way we feel. It feels like there's a disconnect often between the city staff and the city council. We will hear one thing from city staff about ramp grants or how it's done, and we will hear another from city council, and we are struggling to understand what the right path is. How do we move forward? So we're always constantly feeling like we're changing the goalposts of where we're going and how to get there, because we're not sure how or who is what we're supposed to be listening to and or hearing, if that makes any sense. And the last thing that I think that we're struggling with here in Layton is we need the city to help bridge the gaps between the arts organizations. We all know this. We've grown up in a city that has an amazing arts organization that is phenomenal, and we want them to succeed and be as thriving as they are now. But there are other organizations, and I think the city could help bridge those gaps with all of us, not just us and the other organizations, but all the arts organizations. And so on the last page, the thing that I talk about is some thoughts, some takeaways, and some ideas. And I will briefly tell you that my biggest and hopeful idea from this whole discussion is that I would love to see the city create an arts coalition that is run by a member of city staff or a city council member that helps bring together the arts organizations in our community. That we meet monthly, we have conversations about how the arts are doing, what we can do to help each other, and we create something that is bigger than one organization, because we at OPA believe that we're stronger together. We're not islands. When we bind together, we are going to create better art. We're going to create better things for our community. And I think the city could be the front runner in helping that happen. And I think it's time. I think that Layton City sits in a very interesting spot as the biggest city. We have led the change on so many things. It's time to lead the change in the arts. And I know that you have a city council meeting in 4 minutes, so I'm going to stop talking. If there are questions in the 4 minutes you want me to answer, I'm happy to. I'm so sorry I talked so long.
I just want to make one point of clarification.
Yeah.
When you spoke about the actual application
Yeah.
and how it maybe needs to be tweaked for the arts, okay, keep in mind that that application is an application that applies to all 4 entities.
Sure.
And I know we don't want to end up with 4 different styles of applications. Sure. So that's why that was worded that way. And certainly, from the get-go, that was something that we started, and there has been some tweaks to it, but I don't ever see us adjusting that just for one particular
I don't
entity.
think that
I understand what you're saying, but that's the reason why it's that way.
We don't have a problem with the way it's worded. That's the truth is we don't mind, but we get questions every year of how come you're keeping this stuff, even though we've checked the thing that says we're keeping this stuff. And so then we feel a little bit like we're working the system or something. I don't know what the exact word is, but every year it's a question that comes up at RAMP. Well, if you're going to keep this, then we can't fund it. We don't know how to do theater without it. At one point in the RAMP meeting, we were told that we should rent everything. We should go down to Hale and rent everything because that's easier for the RAMP to understand how it works. Mm-hmm. And which is totally understandable because I get that. But Little Mermaid as an example, we wouldn't go down to Hale and find 80 matching seagull costumes. It just wouldn't have happened. So what do we do in that case? So do we limit based on what we can rent? And that's the thing that always comes up is it seems like there's more to that discussion than, because we don't disagree that it needs to change or not change. It's just that that it's hard for theater to not buy things, to not acquire things. And then if we are going to acquire it, we'd like to feel like we're not bad people for acquiring things.
Well, I think the underlying message here, I can hear what you're saying is, yeah, perhaps looking at a committee that could look at this more in depth, because I mean, if that is part of the standards, then maybe we do need to look at creating for long term those costumes as a potential rental here.
Sure.
As well. So, but anyway, that was a great presentation. I don't know if anybody else wants to take a minute before we have to go in the other room.
I'm so sorry.
You know, I got to tell you though, we we wanted to make sure we gave you the ample time. Sure. A lot of times people only get 15 minutes.
I appreciate it. So, we appreciate it.
Yeah. So, any quick questions before we head into the other room?
Yeah. Who's your friend?
This is Dan Tate, our board president, and Mandy Harris, who's a board member.
Okay.
Sorry.
I just thought maybe you brought people in on the street, and I'm thinking.
Yeah, I picked them up outside. They seemed like they wanted to go to a meeting, so I brought them in. Yeah.
And such a fun meeting.
If you have questions as you're going through the packet, please reach out. We are happy to talk about this and our experience. It's pretty detailed in there what our experience with Layton City and RAMP has been and what our future goals are. And we'd love to continue the conversation and happy to do it here anytime. So please reach out and let's continue making the arts better in our community.
And can I take just a really quick, I'm sorry. Sure. I want to be very clear that we're very grateful for, I think that the RAMP Commission is doing amazing things to try and jump through hoops to get us to fit.
Yeah.
Our conversation is more about, can we get rid of some of the hoops so that the RAMP Commission, it's easier for them to understand what's going on and it's easier for us to apply. That's kind of the whole, when it comes to the RAMP grant and things like that, because generally speaking, everything that we ask for usually gets funded and it all goes great. There's just a lot of hoops to jump through to make it fit.
And again, there's a lot of good things. I feel like maybe I did focus on that, but there in this packet is a lot of information that's all of the great things that have happened. So, sorry, again, a lot to say.
It's like a lot of things. You make, I don't want to call them a rule, but that's what they are. You make rules based on what you think, and then you find out 4 years later, oh, well, this is, maybe we need to adjust.
Tweak and adjust.
So I think by knowing some of these things, we'll be able to at least talk intelligently and not, thanks.
Thank you all so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
You didn't say Mr. Petey, so.
I'm very sorry.
I thought maybe you was part of the presentation. So. All right, I need a motion to adjourn so we can go into our regular scheduled council meeting. Thank you. Before I start, I just want to say thank you for being patient with us this evening. We did have another meeting that went over just slightly, but we're ready to keep going here. Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone out to our Layton City Council meeting this evening. It's September 21st, and looks like we got a lot of good faces in the crowd tonight, which I love to see. But as usual, we always like to start our meetings with a pledge and a prayer. And we take turns as a governing body here. And tonight, it's Councilmember Thomas's turn to go ahead and lead us.
It's next week. It's still.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry. I'm a month ahead. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Good job.
She's over like a 9
Thank you.
anyway.
See, point of clarification. Okay, so with that in mind, then I'm going to turn the time over to Councilmember Smith Edmondson to lead us.
All right, so tonight I will lead the prayer, but I have asked one of our youth court members to lead us in the pledge. And so I'm going to have him come up and do the pledge first, and then after that I'll do the prayer. So Nettleship, if you would come up, you can lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. God, we thank you for this night. We thank you for an opportunity to come together as a council and as city residents and members of the community to come and do the business of the city. God, we ask that you look on us as we carry out the business that we have set forth, God. We thank you for giving us an opportunity to do your will and to do your work. And God, we ask that you would lead us and guide us in everything that we say and we do on tonight. God, I pray that you would bless these youth that are here on tonight, bless their families, bless their leader who helps them to learn about law and just help to uplift our community. And I pray that everything that they learn while they're in their youth court sessions will be used so that they can help to uplift themselves as well as the community. Thank you for all that you're doing and all that you're going to do. And we pray these blessings in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Very good. I appreciate that. Okay, council, we have 2 sets of minutes that we need to approve tonight. If any of you have any corrections, please let us be known. Otherwise, I'll look for a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Madam Mayor, may I make a comment? I just wanted to give credit to Kim Reed for putting these minutes together because I went through and read them because we had a very, I wouldn't say intense, it was just a very good debate on this. And you, I think, captured the essence of that. So thank you for the work you do on that.
Okay, is there a motion?
Sure, I'll do it. Why not? Madam Mayor, I move that we approve the minutes of Layton City Council meeting July 20th, 2023, and the minutes of Layton City Council meeting September 7th, 2023 as written.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved in second that we approve the minutes as written. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much. I also want to make note that we do not have Councilmember Roberts with us here tonight. He did ask to be excused, and so I just want to make sure that was on the record, so you know. And he did want me to make sure that we give congratulations when that time comes. So before we go on, Council, I'll look to see if there's any municipal events or announcements that need to be shared with everyone.
I do have one to announce for Davis Arts Council. Their active pages is available, well, one session is available for October 14th. They will be performing Frankenstein, and that's where they walk through the park and they act out the play or the show, and then at the end of the event, kids get a book, and this is a free event. The afternoon is already sold out, but the 4:15 show still has availability. So if you go to their website, davisarts.org, you can sign up for that. There will be another one that same evening from 6 to 9, so they'll have 3 shows that night, and you can sign up for those. They will also have some other ones coming up later in the season, but they have a lot of things happening in our city. And then also our Parks and Rec have the Park After Dark, I believe it's called, tomorrow night, and that's just over here in the Constitution Circle from 7 to 9 p.m. That's a free event for families, so you're more than welcome to come out and attend all of those.
Both of them are great events, and I do believe on the active pages that there may be, well, I will tell you that the train will be coming out, which is a special ride that has been purchased to kind of accommodate a lot of the folks here. And you'll be able to purchase probably a beverage and possibly a cookie and a ride after you do your tour with the Arts Council. So they'll probably, I'm not sure where we're setting up. Are we setting up at where are they going to be doing? South of the museum. Okay. So I do know that, the Arts Council obviously is right across the way here, but they'll be setting up right in front of the Surf and Swim. Councilman Thomas?
The train is not a lawnmower. Okay? This is a train. And when you see it, if you haven't seen it, you will be impressed. If you are not impressed, you probably didn't see it very well. Ask for the lights to be turned on. But anyway, it's turned out to be really nice. And so it's going to add to a lot of things we're going to be doing in the future here.
Okay, very good. Okay, does anyone else have any announcements they'd like to share? Okay, if not, then we're going to actually have, this brings us to the point of this meeting that quite honestly, all of us are quite excited to hear about. I don't know, Carlene, are you going to get up and speak, I hope, and give us all the stats like usual? But tonight, as Mayor and Council, we're excited to honor our youth corps graduation and also the new ones swearing in. So I'm going to now turn the time over to Carlene, who is their advisor, long-standing advisor. Thank you, Carlene, for all the many years of service. I know you've been there.
Thank you. Yeah, Mayor, City Council, and parents and youth. Layton Youth Court is graduating our 26th year class. So these are the ones for our 26th year. So we've completed 25 years and we're starting 26. I can't believe it. It's just like I feel like it was yesterday that we were just starting this. So
since how you started it.
yeah, I've been here for all that time. So we don't tell my age though. So okay. So we've been doing training since April. So these youth have been in training a lot. And last night, I just want to let you know, we played Youth Court Jeopardy, and they actually did pretty good. So they learned, and the stuff they hadn't remembered, they now know. So they're pretty good. So you can ask them questions about our Youth Court Act, and they can answer you because they know the answers. These guys are great. So what I'll do is with the first, we have certificates for all the ones that just finished training. And I'll call you up one at a time. And if you come up here, I'll give you a certificate. And then is it okay if they come around and shake
Absolutely.
everybody's hand? Mm-hmm. And then come and line up in front here so that everybody can get sworn in. And then the ones that are returning, I call them our old kids, but the returning youth, we give them a year pin. Those who have just completed their first year will have a 1 and then 2, and then we have some that have completed 3 years already. And then we'll have everyone stand up here, and you guys are swearing in, and we'll take pictures. That sound good? Okay, let's go here. And some of the youth aren't able to be here for one reason or another. They're used to Wednesday night, so some of them, I know that some of my older youth have college classes and stuff. So, but I think almost every one of our first-time ones are here tonight. So, if I call your name, come on up. Okay, Austin Mitchell. Okay, Aaliyah Donegan, is that how you? Okay, I thought I should have. Colin Miller. Callie Moore. Delaney Jenkins. Elizabeth Allen. Austin, why don't you start over? Come all the way over here. Gabe Wiseman, I didn't think I saw him come in. Okay. Mari Nichols. Go behind the table. Nat Nettleship. Simone Baker. Tristan Redding. Those are our new ones that have just completed training. Now we'll get the others with their pins. So for ones that have who've been here for a year, Bridger. And I only put first names on here, so. Did Drayden come in? I know he was coming. Okay, Drayden's not here. Okay, Kai, not here. Lucy. Alex just said she couldn't be here. Timothy. You here? Timothy. It's okay, come on up. I was like, I know he walked in the door.
I feel like I graduated. I wasn't expecting to get anything here.
He has graduated. He finished a year, and he's come back as an adult advisor. So he has graduated to be an adult. So he's surprised a little bit. Okay, Isaac. Isaac's been here for completed 2 years now. So, oops, can I get this? Caitlin Green isn't here. Ariana has completed 3 years, so she's starting on her 4th, and she's our current president. So, yeah. And Isaac is our chief secretary, just so you know. Ellen isn't here. Caitlin Mitchell, she has completed 4 years, so she's starting her 5th year, and she's our choices expert. Okay. Did I forget anybody? Cool. Okay. Now I grab my camera and take pictures.
Okay, raise your right hand and repeat after me. Sorry, are you ready? Okay. I state your name. Do solemnly swear. That I will support, obey, and defend. The Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the State of Utah. And that I will discharge the duties of my office. With fidelity. Congratulations.
And I know you have treats for us, so do you want us just to wait till you finish your meeting and then we?
Well, I think you're missing the important part here.
Oh,
I'll wait for the council to sit down. And I do have to say thank you very much for your service to the city. Thank you, parents, for supporting these students in this great role. And I know this past year they set a record that is going to be extremely hard to attain, but with the returning that you have, and obviously with your coach that's willing to come back, I have high hopes as well. I don't know if any of the other council members want to kind of go ahead and give their congratulations as well before we allow you to partake.
can I sit down or do I need to stay standing?
Sure. Your choice. Did anybody else want to say anything? I mean, I will tell you, they had a great graduation, and I know that many of you are aware of this, and I don't want to steal the thunder here. So we do have council members that are assigned to the youth court, and you guys need to speak.
So you can share that. I can still
it's
give
okay.
congratulations, but I believe the message that the mayor is holding on to is that youth court had 100% completion rate in the past year, which means that of all of the youth that participated in the program, they completed the program, and that is record breaking. To have youth who complete all of the things that are required of them or expected of them. And we're just really grateful to Carlene for continuing to be the advisor for this program. Don't go away, because she's done this forever. But, that's just a testament to what she brings to the youth court, that there's so many youth who want to be a part of it, and that youth are willing to participate in this program to help, change their life around and move on and do lots of things that are even better. I mean, this young man, Mr. Scheffermeyer, who is a graduate, who decided to come back to volunteer as an adult, that's a testament to what the program means to each of you and also to the city. So we're just really grateful that you're here and that you all are willing to participate, and that the parents and families are here to support you. And we're here as a council to support you as well in whatever you need.
Okay, thank you. Council?
Sure. I echo everything Councilmember Smith Edmondson said. Interestingly, I mean, we had the girl who had been here for 4 years. So, you could probably go to law school right now. I'm a lawyer. I can tell you how that works. You can come do cases with me. But the oath that you took and the swearing in is verbatim the same oath that we take when we join the city council. So hopefully that's an indication to you that just how important we as a city think that what you're doing is. You take the same oath that we take to uphold the Constitution and to do your duties with fidelity. So just thank you, Carlene, for all you do for these kids, and thanks to all of you for being willing to help each other out, because that's what youth court's about. It's about helping each other. Maybe some of your classmates have made some wrong choices, and you can help them, direct them into being better, and they look to you as an example of what they can be. And we look to you as examples in our community about what our kids in Layton City can be. So just want to say thank you.
Councilman Morris?
Thank you, Mayor. Dave probably wants to have the last word, so I know.
I'm gonna end the meeting.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you to all of you. No, I'm not a teenager. Obviously, it's been a while. It's been a long time. I'm sure it's still difficult to be a teenager. Difficult. High school is difficult. Junior high is difficult. Lots of choices ahead of you. Lots of choices you have to make right now. And I'll just say you're making correct choices right now. And you are the leadership that you're showing by being in this program, by helping your peers. What an experience that you're going to take for the rest of your life. That's not hyperbole. It's true. And the empathy that you experience and the help is priceless. So you're probably just thinking, just another thing I got to do on Wednesday nights. Soak up this experience. It also shows with people wanting to come back and help after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. It's that important. So again, thank you, and Carlene, thank you. I wasn't able to be at the ceremony, but I just hats off to all of you. Thank you for doing what you're doing. I'm grateful for this group of leaders that we have here in our city. Thanks.
I will end by saying I keep hearing that this generation that we're raising, which is I'm sure what they said when they were raising me, is weaker than any other generation because of all the things they have. But then I look and see what you've done, and I think, some people don't know what they're talking about. You guys have made a commitment, and it's a different kind of commitment in that you have to learn a lot of things. and you have to learn what's right, what's fair. And evidently you learned a lot of it. You didn't learn it all because none of us ever learn it all. I'm almost still learning. I'm getting to the point now where I forget faster than I can remember. But so I applaud you for that. I think that's something you can put on your shoulders and say, I did this. And every time you run into problems and something seems too hard, you can say, no. I've accomplished things. I did it. I'm going to do this too. I'm proud of you. I really am. You know, to see people, especially as many of you as there are, to do what you've done. So I applaud you for that and hope that you go on and continue to do good things, and especially help those that may not be doing good things, because sometimes that's all somebody needs is a little help. So be that help. Thank you.
Okay. Very good. Once again, I just want to reiterate the fact that we're so proud of you guys. In fact, I'm going to tell you how proud we are. Not only did we haven't done this before by making sure we had a treat for you upon this night, but that's because you guys were able to attain a goal last year. Like I said, you cannot get any better than 100%. But in addition to that, this is an election year, and I've got 3 council members here that are up for re-election. But it was so important for us to show our support to you that we had a request to hold a candidate debate the exact same time and date that you guys come in and use this chamber. And we actually stood up and said, nope, our youth court, that's their night. We're not going to kick them out this time. We'll have it another night. So that's how valuable you are to us and to the city. So keep it up. And with that, I will say, you're welcome to grab a treat. However, we've got one more item on the agenda. So, I mean, if you wouldn't mind waiting until then, would be good, only because this portion of our meeting is kind of one of the critical ones. It's our citizens' comment portion. So we do like to hear from our citizens. A lot of times we cannot get into a debate situation or comment on it, but it's the time for any of our citizens to come up and address us. So if there's anyone in the audience that would like to do that at this time, you're welcome to come up to the podium and state your name and address for the record, and then we'll go from there. Okay, seeing that there's no one here that wants to address this council at this time, I do not have any consent items or a public hearing. We do have some unfinished business, but not necessarily in this room. So, council, I'll bring it back to you for a motion to adjourn and to go back into a work meeting and a closed-door meeting.
I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting, that we go back into another meeting, a closed-door meeting, and I also make a motion that I get the second cupcake. Okay, I won't take the first, but I get the second.
And how about if we take a 5-minute recess in between so that we can intervene? Congratulations.
And I say that we take 6 minutes. Okay? Okay.
Okay, is there a second on that?
Sure.
A second.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay. Thank you, you guys. Again, we're very proud of you. We held this meeting just for you, so congratulations.